The massive public adaptation of new technologies such as Spotify and Facebook Live has fundamentally changed how people listen to music and is affecting local musicians. To do research, I traveled to two very different music venues in Montclair. Groove Cafe, a quiet vegan cafe which hosts live music in the evenings, and a dirty graffiti-covered basement that serves as the local hub of underground music, the Meat Locker. I interviewed several musicians about the state of local music and the effects these new technologies are having on the music scene.
YouTube is the most prevalent way people are consuming music now. This Facebook Live stuff kind of freaks me out. It's like every gig can be, like, guys just put it on and you're watching their gig. That's going to get crazy too. It's like there's no, you can listen to anything any place in the world. I think within 5 years that's going to replicate, every gig will be up. But now anyone who has Facebook on their phone can put it up on the internet. So let's hope it creates an audience. It gets more people to come out than does the opposite effect. I find Facebook event extremely useful in letting people know about a gig and getting people there. Now depending on how you use social media, you have one gig with a famous band, maybe you're subbing for one night and they don't even like you and never call you again, but you can ride that to getting other gigs because of the way you post it on Facebook. The live streaming thing is going to be a big deal. These gigs that we used to do for empty rooms, you can still do it from empty rooms, but stream it out and have, 50 people watching. It doesn't seem like a stretch. It's making it possible for niche bands or bands with that have a certain thing that only appeals to a small group of people now has a chance to reach that audience every night. That you don't get as many individual voices. In other words, someone in my generation that was picking up something off of vinyl and trying to get it would create his or her approximation of what the artist on the record was doing, but influenced by just who they are. So they might sound too much like the original and not infuse it with their own personality. And it affects live music too. I think people are a little bit adverse to cover charges.
I guess you could say it's like the natural way of things, where there's like a ginormous global social network where you can share art and ideas and show each other new bands. It's like takes a second. Well, there was just only places to go that everyone would go to because that's where the live music was, and that's not so much anymore. And now it's more you reach directly to people, which I think is much more powerful. You can find your market way more effectively if you're able to just reach out to individuals and they're able to share with their friends. Like word of mouth is more powerful than ever now. I think live music is always gonna have a place in the future. It's just like a form of entertainment, and a lot of people are gonna forever be entertained by music as long as there's people who are gonna be entertained by making it. The way that most people consume music when they're first finding a band isn't really, you listen to the whole song, even you like skip around like the 30-second mark to the 45-second mark to see if you're gonna kind of like dig the general feel of the band, and you dive deeper. And things like Spotify, iTunes, Play, they all, encourage that. I typically use Spotify to find new bands, and Bandcamp it's like the best way to support bands is you can pretty much buy directly through Bandcamp.
Like Spotify and those radios and all those free things are 100% the way people are consuming music now. Believe it or not, I've seen people go down, they're actually more satisfied watching videos of like bands live, and the quality of video is actually getting so great, it's almost the same thing.
Everything like Facebook and Spotify and all those listening apps, they all have sort of a way of being like a giant record store. And I would say that's kind of the way that things are moving. I mean, you go into an actual record store and it's very nostalgic. You smell the smells, you see all these different all these different artists and everything like that on the records. But I would say that, a lot of it is already there right in front of you. So it does take a lot of the joy out of like searching and really looking for things. But at the same time, it's a big headache when you just want to find that one album and it's out there, but you can't get it at any record stores. I would say that if we didn't have something like Facebook or Instagram or any of those kind of things, we we wouldn't have had such a good turnout tonight. Like, oh, we got our record on Spotify. All right, great. So then I could just listen to it on Spotify. It's like, no. Come out to see a live show. Then, if you like it, get it on Spotify.
I assume that local musicians would dislike Spotify and internet radio since they might affect the number of attendees at their live shows. Instead, I found out that they're using these new technologies as tools to reach a broader audience. Live music may be more accessible than ever with live streaming. Live musicians can only hope that watching their set online will encourage people to come out to a live show rather than just watch it from home. In conclusion, new technologies such as Spotify and Facebook Live can be useful tools for a musician and have changed how people access music.
The last train never came.
Looking for that train.